Hey folks, this is Peter from Bikes and Life. Now today we're not going to review a particular bike, we're actually going to take a look at the differences between two different frame geometries to give you the information that you can use to buy your next bike. So on my right we have an Aero road bike, the quintessential Aero road bike from Giant, that is the Propel. And on my left we have the BMC GF01, which is an endurance road bike. These two bikes represent opposite ends of the road bike geometry spectrum. So the Propel over here is very aggressive, lightweight, designed to be as fast as possible, with a lot of compromise for comfort and relaxation. On the left, the BMC Gran Fondo, the endurance geometry on this bike is setting you in a more relaxed position. It's all about comfort, compliance, all-day riding, and so on a bike like that, you can still go really, really fast, but you're going to have to work a little bit harder because you're buying more comfort than you're buying speed. So now let's take an in-depth look at the differences between your Aero road bike and your endurance road bike. The primary difference between any Aero bike versus an endurance bike is going to be in geometry, which is the same as saying body position, gearing, which means how the bike is set up according to whether they expect you to go super fast or whether they expect you to kind of be more of a moderate pace. And then lastly, it's going to be in compliance. Now, let's take a look at the two different bikes and how they compare on each of these points. So firstly, geometry and body position. On the Propel, you can see the head tube is shorter compared to the head tube on the BMC. And that's because this is going to bring your handlebar position lower, which brings your shoulders forward and your head down so that you make a smaller shape to the wind when viewed from the front. So that's all about aerodynamics. If you're going to be sitting in a more upright position, you have much more of a shape that's going to be creating wind resistance, and you have a less streamlined kind of shape in your body. But then again, less weight on your hands, a little bit less strain on your shoulders and your lower back, and you don't have to tilt your neck up as much to still be able to see, compared to when you're in the Aero position. You're definitely getting more over the bike, your neck is like this, and you're kind of trying to combine the whole torso and head of your body into one streamlined kind of bullet shape. Aside from body position, another thing that they do on Aero versus endurance bikes is they change the way that the handling is set up. On an Aero road bike, because this is more of a race machine, you're going to have a more aggressive, quick steering. So what they do is they'll actually change the angle of the fork, the rake of it, and they'll bring it back a little bit to have a steeper fork rake angle. What that does is it's just allowing you to turn more quickly so you can adapt to race situations in a faster way. On an endurance road bike, you'll have more of a rake to the fork, which is called a slackened head tube angle, which is allowing you to have a broader turning radius for a more stable, kind of comfortable at speed feeling. It's not to say that you couldn't be comfortable on an Aero bike, but it does require a little bit more fine control compared to the forgiving handling of an endurance bike. One of the more subtle differences between an Aero bike versus an endurance bike is the gearing. On an Aero bike, you tend to have a much bigger chainring. This is a 53-39 combination in the front for the chainring, and a 53-tooth gear is massive. It's the kind of thing that you'd ride if you're a pro racer, if you're racing in general, because it allows you to achieve a faster top speed without spinning out on your feet. On an endurance bike, you have what's called a compact road group set, and that's going to be like a 50 to a 34 in the chainring in the front. So that difference of 3 teeth alone on the top gear is an incredible difference to lower your gear range overall, making it easier to climb hills, spin your feet faster, not have to push those heavy, hard gears. Last but definitely not least is the compliance of the bike, and that's the feeling that you get when you're riding it. Is it harsh but fast, or is it comfortable and relaxed, right? So when you're designing a bike, you kind of have to trade off between these two different avenues, and more technology is coming along where you can get the compliance with the stiffness that leads to performance, but ultimately these two bikes greatly differ in their compliance. The Aero road bike of the Propel has a much more rigid frame, which is leading to a better transfer of power from your leg power and your arm power and your whole body, transferring the power through the drivetrain and into the wheels that makes you go fast. So everything here is tuned to use every ounce of your muscle power as effectively as possible. And there are, a significant number of compromises to your comfort, just like the Aero position is designed to minimize the impact the wind has on you. On an endurance road bike, everything is tuned to give you a balance between performance and comfort. So you have a longer seat tube that's also narrower so it can flex back and forth to absorb that shock. You have kinks in the frame here, you have kinks in the frame here, and shape changes and junctions and kinks and even pivot points are becoming more and more part of road bike designs in order to tune in that compliance. Now, there are different ways that the tubes are shaped in order to maintain the stiffness and the performance that you get, but I can tell you this bike is the super comfortable all-day, any-terrain rider. This bike is the racer, super fast riding, descending, aggressive bike. And so they both have their different qualities. And so that's really what it comes down to. How do you want to feel when you're riding your bike? What are the things you're trying to accomplish? At every Bikes and Life store, we have in-house fit technicians that can take you through the whole process of adjusting every little part from your seat height to your stem length to the bar you may choose. And those micro adjustments, small though they may be, can make the world of difference that changes you from, I got this bike but I'm not so comfortable, to, oh my God, this bike is incredible. So please come by a Bikes and Life store to learn about the different bikes we offer, get fit, talk to a specialist. And if you want to learn more about the Giant Propel, we actually just published a video review on that. You can click right up here to watch our Giant Propel video review. If you want to learn more about just how to cycle more in comfort regardless on what road bike you have, you can check out a video by a channel called GCN, How to Cycle in Comfort, one of my favorite channels in all of YouTube. So click right up there to watch that. And of course, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel to get automatic updates. We're going to be posting more how-tos, more knowledge to help you make the right cycling decisions for you. So hey, click down here to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have fun.